Hey everybody, it's your friendly tour guide, John Jennings, and we want to take a few moments to talk about House Bill 3409. And we realize this could have been the beginning of the series, but we wanted to give some kind of text and context to get ready to get into the bill itself. It's a long bill, and we're only really focused on two particular sections. So sections 35, 36, and 37 pertain directly to this Rules Advisory Committee, and they're titled Finding Opportunities and Reducing Conflict in Utility Scale Photovoltaic Solar Siting. And we think that's important if we go about and the result is finding sites where there's no conflicts that are not genuine candidates for successful solar projects. We've missed the mark, right? It has to be both. We have to have opportunities for siting projects that have the element of reducing conflict. If we don't do both, it's not balanced, and we haven't done our job. So right out of the gate, this legislation directed LCDC to adopt administrative rules with regards to the exception opportunity for photovoltaic solar projects. And that was accomplished. We've done that. Happened November 3rd, 2023, in Medford, Oregon. The RAC could see fit to take another look at that and to see, not to roll it back, but to explore whether or not that has come together as completely as maybe it could. So moving on through section 35 into subsection 2, we really find what I would think is the epicenter for this Rules Advisory Committee's work, and that is the direction to create criteria for siting solar facilities. I'm not going to read all this. You guys can read it. But I will say this, we intend this to be voluntary. We heard our local partners at the county level say, do not shove something down our throats, and we listen to that. So that piece, we believe, is cemented. And the consideration items will go on to say talk about potential conflicts of the resource lands and also soliciting public feedback. So the second and final element of section 35 sub 2 is B, which speaks to identifying the characteristics of land in Eastern Oregon that are best suited, really the best suited to encourage and hopefully site solar power generation facilities, and it enumerates or lists a number of considerations. Again, I'm not going to read them. I'll paraphrase highly. But it talks about being suitable for contributing to the state's clean energy goals, consideration of site characteristics, including energy potential and proximity transmission, and the ability to readily avoid, I believe it says readily, negative impacts to kind of a variety of values that are important to Oregonians: farm and forest lands, cultural, archaeological resources, habitat, community needs, things of that nature. So here's kind of a 50,000 foot view of some of the other things that House Bill 3409 directs in these sections. 36 and 37 call for the appointment of a diverse rules advisory committee, which we feel really good about, and that committee will meet at least four times in different parts of the state, which is why we're getting out and about Eastern Oregon, which we're glad to do. It requires us to put together a report to the legislature, and among the things included in that report would be a discussion about best practices for mitigation. And in this context, we're talking about mitigation for wildlife habitat and agricultural land. So we think that's exciting. I'm sure I'm missing something, leaving some things out. But again, I would absolutely invite you guys to read these sections, read this part of the legislation, and ask any questions that you see fit. So a couple of other things that kind of help round out our understanding of the expectations with regards to House Bill 3409, sections 35, 36, and 37. Here's a snippet of a letter that Representative Pamela Marsh entered into the record. I believe this was June 10th, 2023, at the Joint Ways and Means Committee's, the Natural Resources Subcommittee. Representative Marsh is a chief sponsor of the bill and from House District 5 down in Southern Oregon. Again, I'll attach this letter, but it kind of gives a sense of some direction. You'll see some, I hope by now, some familiar terms: Goal 2, Goal 3, Goal 4, Goal 5. And by no means is this the only legislator testimony. We're aware that Representative Ken Helm, who is from District 27 near Portland, actually I think District 27 is near Beaverton, but did present testimony expressing his strong interest in seeing more solar developed in Oregon. I couldn't find a copy of that. But if anybody has it and wants to share it, send it to me. I'd be happy to share it with the rest of the group. So the final piece that kind of gives some direction to us as staff is this charge that LCDC has adopted. That's something that we began doing, which again is a sort of a expression of the commission's expectations and what they want to see. If you could read, if you could read this, you would notice things like working with tribal governments and consideration of community benefits and connectivity for wildlife habitat and agricultural lands, and also explicitly saying the consideration of increasing the thresholds for solar development on farm and forest lands under certain circumstances, mitigation for farm and ranching and forestry. But again, I we will attach this to your materials, and by all means, would encourage you to take a look at it and let us know if you have any questions. So you know what? I think I'm going to wrap it up for now. It's probably more than enough. I guess the last thing I would say is that the legislation, Article 3409, directs for this rulemaking to be adopted by LCDC by the 1st of July 2025. We're overachievers, right? We're going to do it more quickly than that. We're going to expect to have LCDC review our work in December of 2024. And so again, that's why we're all here. Thank you so much again for your commitment, investment of time and energy in this work, and please do come to this work with an open mind and a creative spirit and a sense of humor. You know what? Bring a sense of adventure too, because I think it's going to be quite a ride.